All praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Ba'ashem Kodash, double honors to the elders and apostles of Greatness Stone. Shalom to the elect which discern in truth and in sincerity, with the hope I receive in mercy of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh. Yahweh is the name of David the Father. Yahweh is the name of his only begotten Son. The so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans are the Israelites according to the prophecies that are written in the scriptures. I want to make it known that the RFID market chip is the character written about Revelation 13 verse 16 and down, which is the MOTB. The miracle jug is the precursor to the MOTB. Yahweh Shai, who though innately called Jesus, is about to make his return upon the earth to deliver his elect and to pour out judgment as it is written. So I want to jump straight into this lesson dealing with climate change. You know? Because if you're not aware, this is a narrative being pushed around the world due to the various so-called natural disasters, because these are not natural disasters. These are done by Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, because we're in the time of judgment, and Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai is sending plagues upon the earth in different forms, in the means of floods, storm, tornadoes, lightnings, thunders, hail, and various more plagues, wildfires. But the inhabitants of the earth not considering what's really going on. It is written in Zephaniah 3 verse 5, so the judgment of the Lord go forth every morning, but the unjust know no shame. This is Isaiah 29 verse 6. It says, Thou shalt be visited of Yahweh of hosts with thunder, and with earthquake, and great noise, with storm and tempest, and the flame of devouring fire. And one day I will see a great earthquake struck between Turkey and Syria. In the last 2 days or 3 days ago, one more earthquake struck between Ecuador and Peru. But who considering the workings of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai in these last days? Who's observing the signs of the Lord are pushed forth in these last days? They are not observing these things. It is written in Matthew 16 verse 1. It said, The Pharisees also with the Sadducees came, and tempting desired him that he would show them a sign from heaven. He answered and said unto them, When it is evening, ye say it will be fair weather, for the sky is red. And in the morning it will be full weather today, for the sky is red and lowering. O ye hypocrites, ye can discern the face of the sky, but can ye not discern the signs of the times? And one of the reasons why they can't discern the signs of the times is because they're not watching. They're not measuring the time. They're not using the ruler given by Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. As written in 2 Ezra 9, so you're supposed to measure the time diligently in itself, and it's a part of the science class to present the prophecies. You have to know that the Lord is visiting the earth which he made. So let's run this clip. And to along this cyclone and pass, I did a video on this a couple weeks ago. I want to say, or a week and a half ago. Let me phrase it that way.
This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, the War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman, writer and actor. As we continue to look at the climate emergency, we turn to Southeast Africa, where Tropical Cyclone Freddy has killed over 500 people in Malawi and at least 66 people in Mozambique. Over 500,000 people have been displaced. Cyclone Freddy, one of the strongest storms ever recorded in the Southern Hemisphere and the longest lasting tropical cyclone on record. It first made landfall in Madagascar on February 19th. We're joined by Dipti Bhatnagar, longtime climate justice activist based in Mozambique. She's with Friends of the Earth Mozambique. She lives in Mozambique but is now visiting the Bay Area. We are staying with Bill McKibben of Third Act and 350.org and Ben Jealous, who's now head of the Sierra Club. Dipti, talk about what's happened in your country, in your region, and how it relates to climate change.
Hi, Amy. Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me on. As you've already spoken about, Cyclone Freddy is yet another reminder that climate impacts are not in the future, but very much happening to our communities right now. Almost 1 million people have been affected in Mozambique and 1.6 million across the region. And, you know, this has come on top of what was already a cholera epidemic, what was already flooding happening in southern Mozambique, including affecting my own house. In early February, the climate impacts were already happening. So when Cyclone Freddy hit for the first time, around the 24th of February, and then it went back out again into the Mozambique Channel and then came back and hit again. You know, this is hitting land that is completely saturated, hitting people that are completely saturated without any kinds of reserves. So the climate impacts are happening right now to people, and it's not just one, it's happening over and over and over again. And climate change is supercharging these cyclones. They're being able to survive longer on land. They're being able to go out again into the ocean and come back in, which is what we saw with Cyclone Idai, the really destructive cyclone in 2019. And now we see this pattern again. This cyclone is one of the most supercharged cyclones. It's lasted the longest, and it has hit Mozambique already twice, and it is affecting people who are already living on the edge, Amy, who have really nothing more to be able to give. They're struggling to survive. And this is why what the IPCC report says about the urgency of the situation is absolutely critical. But we are seeing communities, people that have no historical responsibility for creating this crisis, and they're the ones that are being affected, while the rich countries just continue to undermine historical responsibility and equity while the climate negotiations and the IPCC negotiations are going on. And it's just absolutely heartbreaking to see what is happening on the ground.
If you can talk about this report that has just come out today, the IPCC report, and the significance of what they're saying has to happen right now, Dipti.
So the IPCC science is very, very clear in talking about this rapidly closing window of opportunity. That is something that we need to take heed. As Bill was talking about, we're seeing expansion of fossil fuels, not just in the Arctic, in Alaska with the Willow Project, absolutely shocking, but also in Mozambique, one of the countries most affected by the climate crisis, is also where one of the largest gas fields that has been found anywhere in the world in the last 10 years has been found, and Total and others are going ahead with it. And the Mozambican government is also complicit. So we need to be stopping dirty energy everywhere in the world. And my group, which is Justice Ambiental, I'm actually on sabbatical from Friends of the Earth International. I'm representing Justice Ambiental, Friends of the Earth Mozambique. And my group has been fighting against oil and gas in northern Mozambique since 2007, working in the province of Cabo Delgado, where fossil fuels are not only causing climate change, but they're displacing communities, they're causing human rights violations, they're triggering conflict and militarization and insurgencies all across the continent, including in Mozambique. So this is what we need to be fighting against. And the IPCC definitely talks about the need for emissions reductions. But one of the things that's really scary, Amy, is that this whole notion of carbon dioxide removals is playing such a key role now in the IPCC report. And this is really problematic because...
So as the year she speak, you know, she tell you what caused climate change, but that's a lie. Yeah, how about Shimiosha is the one that's causing everything that you're seeing taking place on the earth. He's the one to be talked about, yeah? because he's the one bringing this judgment upon the earth. This is Romans 13 verse 11. He said, and that knowing the time, and that enough people know the times that they're in. They're in the times in which the Lord said, I'm going to bring great plagues upon the earth, the sword, famine, death, and destruction. And these plagues are coming in various ways. He said, and that knowing the times, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep. For now is our salvation nearer than when we believe. And this is one of the things that we can use to know. As written in Isaiah 29 verse 6 said, this is how the Lord is going to visit the earth which he made. So now is not the time to be following off of everything that you hear on these mainstream news media outlets here, because a narrative is being pushed. So now is the time to watch, be sober, be vigilant, yo. Yahweh Shai is about to do great wonders in the earth. So with that I want to say Kalalal, Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai, Ba'asham Kodash, Shalom.